number 17, Detroit. This is a big one, John, because they're in the tackle business right now. So if the Eagles want to tackle, are they going to have to jump the Lions? What do you see the Lions doing? Who do you think they like in the draft?
Well, I definitely think if you want Proctor, this is the team you have to jump. And I think the Eagles want Proctor. So, yeah, I think that's the team you got to go ahead of.
I don't know. What if Freeling's still on the board?
I think they would take Yeah, we talked. I think they would.
No, you think the Eagles would take Proctor? What about You think the Lions would take Freeling or Proctor?
I think that's an interesting question. I don't know. I think they would still take Proctor because they're going to move Sewell to left tackle, and I think they would want. Now you could always, if you draft Freeling, you could keep Sewell at right tackle, where he's an All-Pro. And draft Freeling to play left tackle. So it's not like they can't change their mind, but from all indications I've seen, they're planning on playing Sewell at left tackle. If that's the case and that's the way they want to go, then I think they'd rather have Proctor. But I think they would make do with either. If it shakes out the other way, but everybody's got him taking a tackle. Everybody. So McShay's got him taking Blake Miller. Schrager's got him trading up to get Proctor, I believe. Yes. And Zierlein's got him staying put to take Proctor. And Jeremiah's got them staying put and taking Freeling. So it's all offensive tackles. And I think pretty clearly because of what happened to them last year, which had more to do, not only with that, I mean, had more to do interior with Frank Ragnow.
Yeah, but Frank Ragnow tried to come back. He retired. Yeah. That was brutal for them.
Yeah. I mean, they were at their height. They were in the conversation with the Eagles as having the best offensive line in football. And it's that's how quickly things move in the NFL with, you lose Ragnow, you lose Decker, and all of a sudden you're O-line desperate. So that's what the Eagles are trying to avoid.
We'll see what ends up happening with that one. All right, 18, John, is interesting. The Vikings getting closer to Eagle Land here. 18 Vikings. You've talked about their need at safety. Jeremiah has Colton Hood mocked there at 18 in his final mock draft that he did. What do you see at number 18?
Definitely defense. I've seen a lot of Thieneman here, probably more than any other player mocked at any other team. That's been number one. That's but they kind of know, like nobody else knows if Harrison Smith is coming back. If he is, they probably go a different direction, and they probably know that. But I would say Thieneman's most if Harrison Smith.
I don't really get it on Harrison Smith. Like, what do you mean we don't know if you're coming back? It's April, dude. Make a decision.
That's some of these guys. He's but my point is he probably has made a decision. We just don't know it. And in other words, the organization knows.
Right. Okay.
And they will certainly know before the draft because they can't go into it with the assumption. So that's why I just hesitate. And you've seen some Colton Hood, which I would not advocate. And then defensive tackle, because they have no defensive tackles. There's a perfect example of not draft proofing, and you got to take a defensive tackle. So this is where you might see a surprise with a Peter Woods or Caden McDonald or one of those defensive tackles, just because of their need. And needs the worst talent evaluator in sports. So they're probably gonna reach for a defensive player at 18.
Yeah, I could see that as well. 19, John, you have the Carolina Panthers. The mock from Jeremiah has them taking Dylan Thieneman. I don't know about that. What do you see at the Panthers? And maybe that could be a trade-up spot for the Eagles. Jump right ahead of the Cowboys, who are sitting at pick 20.
Yeah, maybe. I mean, Thieneman, I've seen a lot. If the Vikings pass on him, I think he could go right away. So 18, 19. Um, uh, Schrager has Houston trading up to get Blake Miller. Um, so there is a potential trade scenario there. Zierlein's got him staying put. And drafting Casey Concepcion, I think that's a little
Ooh,
bit early.
yeah.
I like the player, but I think that's a little bit early. And as you mentioned, Jeremiah with Thieneman as well. Um, I don't have a beat at all on Carolina. I got to be honest with you. But the name I've seen most is Thieneman, so I think he's going 18 or 19
Yeah, we
to
could say
Minnesota or Carolina.
we'll see about that. John, Dallas Cowboys sitting at 20. They're an interesting one because they have 12 and 20. So you can make an argument they're positioned well, but you can also make an argument they're positioned right outside where you want to be for taking 2 first-round players in this draft. What do you think they do at 20? And then how do you see them kind of trying to play the draft this year? Maybe they package them up. Do they try and go higher? Do they try and, get out of 20? A lot of different ways the Cowboys could go here.
Yeah, I think with the Cowboys, it's defense. Christian Parker trying to help out Christian Parker, and if you're staying at 12, you know maybe Caleb Downs, Ballsy. I doubt it. They have a lot of interest in Sonny Styles, so people have talked up packaging to move up. But one thing they also you'd like to get two. And one's got to be a pass rusher. So either you trade into the top 5 or 6, Cleveland at 6 would be, and get Arvell Reese if he begins to fall, or you got to get a pass rusher at 20. I think the more likely scenario is 20. And that's where, the TJ Parkers come in, the Malachi Lawrences, who seem to be getting a lot of late hype, the Keldrick Falks, who I don't think is a pass rusher, so I would stay away from. And Messidor as well, if he gets past Tampa Bay. So those are the names I would think you would look at 20. They could take a corner, so one of those corners, the Colton Hoods, the second level corners, because they need help they need help at every level on defense.
John, I'm going to ask you 2 different scenarios here. Okay. And they're polar opposites. What is the dream scenario for Cowboys fans with their 2 picks? I'm not talking about other teams' picks. I'm talking about their 2 picks. And what is the dream scenario for Eagles fans when it comes to the Cowboys pick? So not talking about who the Eagles are going to draft. What's the dream scenario for the Eagles fans for what the Cowboys do with their 2 picks?
Well, I think the dream scenario with the Cowboys would be Downs falling, getting him, and then getting a good pass rusher. And I guess Messidor. I think that would be the dream scenario.
Okay.
For the Eagles, I would think they draft one of those corners that I talked about, maybe Colton Hood at 20.
Okay.
And at 12, they take Ruben Bane, and he just can't play because of his, they try him at edge rusher, and he's just.
So that would be the dream. So Eagle fans, if the Cowboys end up with a Colton Hood and Ruben Bane, then Johnny Mac's feeling good for you guys. All right, good stuff there. There's the Cowboys at pick number 20. 21, the Steelers, John. I was surprised to see Blake Miller, in the mock from Daniel Jeremiah, the final one. Blake Miller goes at 21 to the Steelers. They're an interesting team, typically make pretty good decisions in the NFL draft. What do you see the Steelers doing at 21?
Yeah, they're another tackle team. That's part of the problem. You got two heavy tackle teams with Detroit and Pittsburgh ahead of you.
Yeah.
So, McShay hasn't taken Ian Acor, Schrager hasn't taken Free.